Hey, welcome. In an age where a single social media post can go viral in seconds, have you ever stopped to think about what protections you actually have? Today, we're diving into your fundamental rights as a Nigerian citizen. We're going to look at what they are, why they are so important, and, crucially, where the lines are drawn, all according to the highest law in the land. So, let's kick things off with a very modern question. Imagine this. You post a tweet. Maybe it's a sharp critique of a public official or a strong opinion on a really sensitive topic. Could that one simple digital act actually get you into legal hot water? This question, it gets to the very heart of what we're talking about today. And to find the answer, we have to turn to our guide for this whole discussion, the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria. This is the ultimate legal rulebook, and inside it, Chapter 4 is where we find the fundamental rights that are meant to protect every single citizen. All right, let's get into the good stuff. The Constitution groups all these protections under the banner of fundamental freedoms. Now, you can think of these as the core promises that guarantee your personal liberty. They're basically designed to act as a shield against any overreach by the state. Now, Chapter 4 is packed with a whole range of important rights. But for this explainer, we're going to zero in on three of the most vital and, let's be honest, most debated freedoms. These three have a massive impact on just about every aspect of public and private life in Nigeria. So what are they? We're calling them the core three: freedom of expression, freedom of the press, and freedom of religion. Getting a grip on how these three work is absolutely key to knowing your rights in a democracy. Okay. First up, straight from Section 39 of the Constitution, we have freedom of expression. What does that actually mean? Well, it's your right to have your own opinions, to access information, and to share your ideas using any platform you want, whether that's a simple conversation, a book, a piece of art, or even that tweet we were just talking about. And look, this freedom is about so much more than just being able to speak your mind. It is the literal engine of a healthy democracy. It's how we hold our leaders accountable, it's what allows for independent research, and it's how we all make informed choices when it's time to vote. Now, tied very closely to expression is the freedom of the press, which you'll find in Section 39 and backed up again in Section 22. And this is important. This isn't just a special right for journalists. It's a right for all of us to have a media that can operate independently, free from government control. The Constitution basically sets up the media to be the public's watchdog. Their job is to keep a really close eye on people in power, to ask the tough questions, and to bring issues like corruption out into the open so we can actually deal with them. Our third core right from Section 38 is freedom of religion. And you got to think of this as a two-sided coin. On one side, it protects your right to have a faith, to practice it, and to share it with others. But just as important is the other side. It also protects your right not to believe, and it makes sure that no one can ever force a religion on you. So here we have these incredibly powerful rights. But are they limitless? Can you just say or do anything you want and claim it's your freedom? Well, the Constitution is very clear on this. The answer is no. So let's talk about where the fences are. A really good way to picture this is to think of a balance beam. On one side, you've got your guaranteed freedoms from Sections 38 and 39. But on the other side, you've got Section 45, which acts as a counterweight. It makes it crystal clear that these rights are not absolute. It's a constant balancing act. So, when can these rights actually be limited by law? Well, the Constitution lays out a few specific reasons. A law can restrict your freedom if it's necessary for things like national security, public health, or public safety. And this next one is absolutely crucial. Your rights can also be limited to protect the rights and freedoms of other people. And that brings us right back to our original question about the tweet. Does freedom of expression mean it's just a total free-for-all? Can you say whatever you want with absolutely no comeback? This is a really common point of confusion. The answer is a very clear no. The same rules that apply to speech out in the real world also apply online. Laws against defamation, that's harming someone's reputation with lies, and laws that protect a person's privacy are totally in effect whether you're speaking on a stage or typing on a keyboard. Okay, so this whole idea shifts us from just talking about legal limits to something more personal, our own responsibility. See, freedom isn't just the thing you have, it's a power you have to use wisely, especially in this super connected world we all live in now. So what does being a responsible digital citizen actually look like? Well, here are 4 really practical steps. First, always try to verify info before you hit share. A quick search can often stop a fake story in its tracks. That directly helps you avoid spreading fake news, which we know can cause real harm. Third, when you do speak, try to be truthful and fair. And finally, always respect other people's privacy. Don't be the person who shares private info without permission.
Let's apply that same kind of thinking to another one of our core rights, freedom of religion. Is it true that because we need to maintain public order, that means all public worship is just banned?
And again, the answer is a simple no. Of course you can worship in public. It's perfectly legal. The key, just like with free speech, is that it has to be done within the law and it can't disrupt public order or step on the rights of other people. So as we start to wrap this up, you can see there's one big theme that keeps popping up over and over again, and that's balance. These fundamental freedoms aren't a one-way street. They exist in this dynamic tension with the needs of the whole community and the rights of every other person in it. It becomes pretty clear, right? Every one of these rights is tied directly to a responsibility. Your freedom to express yourself is balanced by your duty to speak truthfully. Your freedom to believe is paired with the need to respect what others believe. And the freedom of the press comes with the huge responsibility of reporting ethically. So, if there is just one thing you take away from all of this, let it be this. Your constitutional freedoms and your civic responsibilities are two sides of the exact same coin. You really can't have one without the other. And that leaves us with one last question to chew on. In this complicated digital world of ours, who gets to draw that line? Who decides where one person's right to freedom ends and another person's right to privacy and safety begins? That's the challenge, and it's one we all have to figure out together.